Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this VPE training. And today, before we get started on the training, let's quickly have a look back at what we have done so far, and then understand what it is that we need to be able to do today, because that plays a key role for us. We started off with saying we need to conduct a members' needs survey. We need to find out what our members' needs, and then interview existing and new members to find out what do they need before we can start doing their planning. Then we taught you how to put that DCP planning sheet together, where you look at the entire Toastmasters year ahead and how to plan people for their leadership and their speaking positions. And then we did a session on how does it all fit together, so that you could see the importance and the place of every EXCO member because we have these main processes. We have processes wherever you go in life. And the key, or one of the main processes in Toastmasters, is when you have a visitor, how to take a visitor to become a member. And that's where we locked in everything to show how do they fit together? How do we communicate with each other? What communication do we need to set up? Because remember, everything that we are doing here in Toastmasters is there's got to be a what's in it for me. And that means that me is you. And what we are doing is to be able, we are here in Toastmasters because we want to improve ourselves. And we need to understand that the things that we are doing are so heavily related to business. Therefore, whether it be your own business that you have, or you're working for a company, whether it's a small business or a large corporation, the aspects that we are dealing with in Toastmasters, you will find everywhere. Thus, when we say, how does it all fit in together? It's for you to understand and get the big picture of how does a company run and how are all these parts fitting together. Then we moved on to a new member orientation. So now we know what the members want to do. How do we get involved in orientating these new members? Because you know, when you started, it was like, oh, where do I begin? What is the most important? Where do we start? And after we did the new member orientation, we moved on how to collaborate with your IPP so that you can set up a mentor program, that your IPP can really be key in helping you setting up a mentor program. Now, there are different types of mentor programs that you can set up. A good one to get started with is a new member mentor. That means if somebody has finished level 2, they are ready to help a person just starting to just get them through level 1. However, your immediate past president, your IPP, when they connect with district shares with them a lot of information on Mentors Without Borders. And that is a very important part for them to connect with. So check on them whether they have connected with that, because that's how they will be able to assist your club the best. Then we had then we had how to draw up a meeting program and running fun meetings. So can you see the progress that's taking place? So now we've done everything as a VPE. We've scheduled our members. We set up agendas that are exciting and fun. But we still sit with a problem. That's the question. Member retention and the VPE. So what are we looking at when we look at member retention? Do you battle to encourage members to meet their goals? That's my question to you, VPEs. I just want to minimize this a bit also so that I can see things better, because now my chats have disappeared and I need to see them, because if you are saying something, I can't see what you're saying. Okay, so please type in the chat. Do you battle to encourage members to meet their goals? We have one yes. Come on. Let's get typing. Okay, thank you, Antigua. Francois. Yes, that is a very real battle. It seems like a few of you can associate with this. We do struggle to encourage members to meet goals. So today is going to be a few questions that we're going to start off with, okay? Here goes. What or why do you think members battle to meet their goals? Give us a few insights. You know, I like to refer to this, although we call it the VPE training WhatsApp group that we have, etc. But I believe it should be mastermind and training, because right here amongst this group are amazing people, and you all encounter things and then you discover a solution. And so this is great to share some of your solutions. So tell us, why or what do you think members battle to meet their goals? What is their stumbling block? So let's have a look here. Busy life schedule. Oh, yeah, that one is like probably the top of the list. No wonder it came up first, because it is top of the list. Then I feel they threaten me. Oh, sorry, it disappeared a bit fast. To quit, yes. Conflicting priorities, work and personal issues, confidence. Yeah, that's a big one. Their excuse is time. However, I believe that if it is important enough, they will make the time. That is a very strong and good statement. Some have been burnt out. Some got burnt badly during the previous Toastmaster year. That's true, because sometimes they give themselves so over to it and hardly much return for them. Fear, absolutely, absolutely. I think they forget the reason they joined Toastmasters. Exactly. That's why we got to keep reminding them that they can remember. From my assessment, overwhelmed by the program, time management, and demotivated. Very slow and laid back club culture. Oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to fight. I feel for you. New members are scared to speak. Could more. Having to make up other roles and still deliver their speeches. Now that is such a key problem, because when we ended up going online and COVID came, a lot of people dropped off clubs. There was a huge number drop in Toastmasters and in clubs. And now many people need to take up roles there as well. They are outside the inner circle of Toastmasters. Relationships keep people encouraged and engaged. That's such a good one that you've mentioned there. Absolutely. That's brilliant, Corin. Thank you. Okay, so now we've looked at, there is such a diversity of things. So this is not a, good morning, here's your answer, go and be successful. It's not quite that easy. So let's have a look. What is there? So unfortunately, there's quite a few questions on this training. The next question is, do you think the battle to meet their goals could result in losing interest? So now we've had, yes, we're battling with people. And now the question is, those battles and them achieving their results, could that be a key factor in them losing interest? Thank you. Give us a yes or a no. Let's see how you perceive that. I want to chase us here on a path of thought, and I just want to check, where are you, whether we are thinking and seeing things similarly. But when I look at that, it definitely looks like that. It looks like you see it as well like that. Can you imagine there being a correlation between member retention and struggling clubs? What is it about a struggling club? You know, once they hit that zone, struggling club, you always see it just goes into this downward spiral, ending into quicksand. It's almost as if there's no help for them coming out. What is this car worth? You see, there was this dad and his daughter had just graduated from high school. And he said to her, my daughter, you can have this car, but before you take ownership of it, I want you to take it down to the secondhand car sales dealer and ask them, what will they give you for it? She went down, came back, and she said, Dad, they'll give me 10,000 Rand for it. He said, well, okay, take it now to the pawn shop. How much will they give you for it? She returned from that and she said, Dad, they won't even give me 1,000 Rand for it. He said, okay, take it now to the car club. She came back, gobsmacked, jaw dropped. She said, Dad, I can't believe it. There were people that wanted to give me over 1 million Rand for it. Why? Because you see, it is an iconic car, a Holden Torana. Well, what the dad said is, the right place values you the right way. If you are not valued, don't be angry. It means you are in the wrong place. Those who know your worth are the ones who appreciate you. Never stay in a place where no one sees your worth. How can we get members to see the value of Toastmasters? Although there are various studies that reveal various facts, the biggest take on this is the more senses we use, the better the outcome. Now let's have a look at it. If we are busy with a member, remember we want to correlate a member with a struggling club. So what is it that we need to do with a member? Understand that a member, if we do member orientation, they receive a lecture, they might be reading something, or they're watching a YouTube. That gives them about 20% of learning that will actually take place. However, once they start their Toastmasters project, it escalates. It could be a demonstration from their speech, or they engaged in a discussion. Yet, the biggest part is, and that's exactly what Toastmasters says, we learn by doing. However, there is one step higher. And that is where we would like to take every member to. And that is coaches and mentors. When they enter that zone of teaching, they escalate their potential. Now, remember, the previous one was between 30 and 75% because it depends on how much they prepare to put into it. How do we then come out of the downward spiral and get ourselves going upwards? The only way around that is connecting Toastmaster projects practically. How do we do that? The last question for us is then, how can we encourage members to meet their goals and maintain their interest? How can we do that? If we see this is the huge mountain we're up against. And that's where I want to start off today, taking you somewhere different and hoping to open your eyes to something else. Right? How can we encourage members to meet their goals and maintain interest? You see, this is the time of the year that the clubs are buzzing to get ready. Your treasurer has sent out invoices. We need to get this thing going so that people can kind of pay ahead, kind of lay by Toastmasters, pay ahead so that when it's time for the dues, they've already paid it. But we see a lot of people drop off. And what can we then do to be able to keep that interest? I love that statement. How that is such a true statement. People don't care how much, oops, it's going too fast. People don't care how much they know until they know how much you care. Showing interest in them, one It really helps. Remind them of the reason why they joined Toastmasters. With Toastmasters, we learn by doing. Absolutely. How much they know. Thank you. What I have been doing is in sharing how each project helps in their professional life. Example, many doing podcasts in their project that can help them to become a better podcaster. That is brilliant. That's always what I say. Clear path and progress report. Absolutely. So let's have a look at, I want to tell you a story. Have you ever tasted success? I tell you, once you've tasted success, you just want to keep on going. And I'm so happy it says success breeds success. Now, my first success at Toastmasters was not because I was informed by something. It was quite accidental, but it set the tone for the rest of my Toastmasters journey. I was really pressurized and overwhelmed by my business pressures of things that I needed to get done there. Then on the other hand, there was my Toastmasters development, and I did not want it to lag behind, because if you are paying your dues, you wanted to bring value for you and you want to have some kind of an investment return for it. Then one day I discovered that my personal business project aligns with a Toastmasters educational. I decided to take the one and utilize it with the other, because the business project I did not have enough information on. And I thought the Toastmasters project might just help me. As I read through the information and I was able to excel and do well in this project, it truly set me up for success for the rest of my Toastmasters journey. I want to encourage you, whatever you do, when you become part of Toastmasters, find out how to marry Toastmasters projects with your success by whatever it is you want to achieve in life. I became intentional. And since then, every single project of mine has been to have an expected outcome, and I have achieved that success. I have written a book because of Toastmasters projects. I've been a TEDx speaker. I have done so many things and have been successful in so much because I simply took my Toastmasters educational projects for my success. Toastmasters doesn't work. What? Yes, Toastmasters doesn't work. A hammer lying in your garage doesn't work. You have to pick it up and use it for it to work. Pick up your Toastmasters, use it, and become successful. And that is what we need to do, is to help people tap into the value of Toastmasters by tasting their first success. Success breeds success. And now they will value Toastmasters once they taste that success. Here's a thought on success. It says the bottom line, successful people consistently do what normal people refuse to do. That's a reminder, because you will know in your club, you will see those that put that extra effort in. You see how they climb the success ladder. So let's have a look at this. If member orientation is only a small part, and Toastmasters project can raise it higher depending on how much they do, yet the biggest focus that we get the most value is when we become coaches and mentors. Why would we want to do this? Because we're busy creating a quality club due to a great member experience, as every member matters. Think about this. Whoever your loved one is, whether it's a spouse or a child or a parent or a grandparent or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it doesn't matter. Whoever that special person is that has captured your heart, that you dearly, dearly love. Can you imagine if you are caring for that person, or the two of you are somehow or other in some way staying in the same place, and you have to prepare their food, And they've been really getting very sick lately. And they went to the doctor and extensive tests were done, and they just really battled to find out what the problem is. And then they discovered, and they said, we have discovered what the problem is with this person. They may not ever get any sugar into their life or into their blood. They have a serious disease, and any form of sugar, whether it's sucrose, fructose, it doesn't matter what format of sugar it is. Well, literally, it's like a dangerous poisonous bite from a snake or a spider. Within a few minutes from there, they will die. Now, if you received that kind of notice, that immediately changes your mind in many things. Anytime you buy groceries, you will be studying that ingredient list intensely. You want to make sure there's no sugar going in there because you do not want your loved one to be swallowed up by something as stupid as having a wrong ingredients. When you cook, whatever it is you do, you will make sure. I call that becoming intentional. You have to be intentional. There's no ways that you can just carry on and say, oh, wow, I feel so sorry for you. No, if that person matters, you will do whatever it takes to help that person have a quality life, enjoy life, eat well without sugar. Am I right? That is being intentional, because anything that you do from there has the intention of keeping them alive. And there is a huge power in intentionality. And that is what I would like to, I want you to try and discover the power of being intentional. Because if you can tap into it, not only will you make yourself more powerful, but you will, and if you can impart that to others, you empower them too. I had to go and walk the Fish River Canyon a little while back. Now, it's the same thing. If somebody says, I'm going through a divorce, and if you've never gone through a divorce, you feel sorry for them because it must be terrible. But once you go through a divorce and somebody says they're going through a divorce, immediately there's a huge impact of association, of a whirlwind of things that you can go through. The same with me walking the Fish River Canyon. It's not a walk in the park. It is an extremely tough walk. We did it in 5 days, 1 hour, where you just have your backpack, 17 kgs, and you are climbing, walking, all kinds of things. You don't pass a shop, nothing. So when I tell you that, when you will not be able to see the intensity that I went through. But if there's somebody here that has ever walked the Fish River and understand what it takes, immediately we will have a connection because we'll understand it. And then decisions we make, and that's what I wanted to get to, because I understood that this would be difficult. So my life prior to that was extremely intentional in everything I did to prepare my body to be able to cope with that so that I could make it. Because listen, when you're over 60 and you're going with a group, you don't want to be the weakest link. So that's intentionality. Now, why do I bring it in here? Of the answers that came here are true and connect well with this. You see, one, if people can be reminded why they joined, and they can just connect the joining with exactly that they're busy doing, that is the starting point. The next step after that is, so I'm going to just use an example. Let me use myself as an example. I retired from education and training leaders, and I wanted to know what to do. And as I was researching, I took a path that I felt would assist me in going forward, because all the years I was a conference speaker and I did training, and I felt now I would like to be able to become a professional speaker for my own pocket. So I used visionary communication as my path, because you see, I was intentional. I knew what I wanted to do, and I took the Toastmasters pathway. I connected the two together. That's what's in it for me. And I knew why I was there. That's the starting place. And if I don't really need to work and I don't really need to grow myself, I'm not going to be intentional. But intentionality, you need to find that intentionality connection of what is it? What was it that made me get up 4 o'clock in the mornings? And by 5 o'clock, I'm ready with a backpack and all kinds of things, walking down the sea and rocks, etc., to be able to practice my body to get ready for the Fish River Canyon. What is it? Where is that intentionality going to come for you or your members? You need to connect them with that. Number one. Number two, connect them with why they are there. Number three, help them understand that they should never look at as Toastmasters being here and my private life being there. It is Toastmasters I use for my private life, and whether my private life is being at home or at work, I used Toastmasters for my success. So I used my Toastmasters pathway to plan my success going forward. I used my One Toastmasters pathway, dynamic leadership, because I needed to write a book on leadership. And I thought, I have so much information. How will I know which information should go in the book? Every project helped me to just find my way. And then after I completed that path, I wrote my book. It must be, every path must have meaning and connect to your personal life. And then a very important thing, when we are at Toastmasters, we are building community. Whether you believe it or not, it's like you are busy leaving a legacy, whether you believe it or not. The legacy that's being left will either be good, medium, or very bad, but a legacy is left behind. And when we get together, we are building a community. It will be a great community, okay-ish, or a terrible community. So be intentional to build a great, caring, warm community. People are detached at the moment due to COVID. Learn how to be able to come online and connect with people in a way that they feel connected, that they realize they matter. Now, how would they matter in a Toastmasters meeting? You just preparing your projects, going to the meeting, deliver your speeches, and off you go. You see, that's where community comes in. Because at a meeting, if I come there to just every time deliver my project, and I am not prepared to what they call pay forward, to do something for others, I am going to lose big time. Because of those other roles that are not necessarily going to be a tick of you completing a portion of education, like being an evaluator or a timer or a grammarian, etc. In essence, they are equipping you for your projects. And that's what members need to understand, the value of the whole, the value of the community working together. If I come to evaluate you, I've got to give you my best, because then I can expect that in return. So today, I want to encourage you that when you go back to your clubs, now next week, we're going to do another how-to. I know this meeting was a bit different, but in this meeting, I wanted to bring key concepts across to you. Number one, be intentional. yourself and train those in your club to be intentional. Number 2, connect what you're doing with your purpose for being there. And 3, let that be part of your life. It has to fit in your life so that you have time. Because if you have to do a project at work, you have to do it. So use, go and have a look at your Toastmasters project and say, which project in my path fits with that which I need to get done at work? Take the 2 and let the Toastmasters training show you the steps, what to do, and put it together and shine as a result. But more important, people are disconnected. Find ways to care, to show care and connect. And one of the ways that we can show care is by the way we evaluate, by the way we connect with them. If I prepare as a grammarian well, and I teach you something, and I empower you with something, if I'm a Toastmaster and I deal with the theme of the evening well, and I impart, can you see? I can show I care by how much I prepare. Okay, I quickly want to just have a look at what was written here. Karen said, personal touch, noticing when they are not there, encouraging them on the next step, mentorship, buddies, and link them to what they want to learn. That's excellent. That is exact. In fact, all the answers that came here today, can you see how your answers fit in today's story? Then Kha says, oh, thank you. This is so good. I want to encourage us to be a community that cares for each other. I want you to think of yourself as being like the pastor of the church. If you're not there on Sunday, you know where he is on Monday. He's calling you, or he's coming by to visit you because he cares for you. Now, he is supposed to care for your eternal life. But I believe that it's wonderful that when we as VPE see somebody wasn't there, send them a little text and say, missed you at this meeting, even if they gave a reason they're out of town or something like that. That's our way to learn to care. I want to encourage you. Focus on helping members connect Toastmasters with great value in their lives. Let them taste success and see how they spiral out and rise to their success. And encourage members to become coaches and mentors to even gain greater value in Toastmasters. And watch how members are retained because they discover the value of Toastmasters and they pay their dues because they discover that for as little as 2 pizzas a month, they can have huge impact and success in their lives. Let's do this. Let's help members understand how they can use Toastmasters for their success. Okay, I close off with that. Are there any questions or comments? Maybe we can, I just want to change the view to make sure I can see everybody here. Is there anybody that would like to ask a question at this point in time or share anything? Let's do that now because we've got a few seconds left and then officially the training is finished. Let me know. Any questions? Basu, I see you've unmuted yourself. And then Karen. Yes.
Okay, Granny, thank you so much. My question is like, how do I create that intention for my club member? How do I share that?
Hold on. Did you say, how do you create the intentionality? Is that what you asked?
Yes, I was late. How do I create and how do I spread that intentional spirit among my members?
Okay.
Thank you.
That is such a important question and difficult question. That's the reason why I took that story of the sugar, the person that you love with sugar. To be intentional is very difficult for people to see. But once they can grasp it, it's going to just open their eyes up when they, now you can type into Google power of intentionality, and you will find all kinds of little tips and tricks and things that you can maybe use to share with people. But I want to tell you, that thing has a power that if you can tap into it, it's going to change your life too. Okay, Karen, thank you. Sorry, Karen. Fasu, did I answer you?
Perfectly.
Great.
Thank you so much, Granny B.
Good, good. Karen, thank you.
Granny B, I've noticed just recently that whole thing about the inner and the outer circle in Toastmasters. And, many clubs create the holy grail, the holy huddle together, which is your club excos. You have a separate WhatsApp group, and you communicate everything in that separate WhatsApp group. And what that does is it pushes the rest of your members away. And I remember when I joined Toastmasters 21 years ago, we had a club executive that invited us to everything. We couldn't vote, or there were certain things we couldn't do in the exco meeting, but we were all invited. And so you learn through osmosis, you learn by experience. Too many clubs think they are the leaders this year, so I'm going to do this all, and you must all just sit out there. And then we wonder why our club succession doesn't work and why our members don't get involved. So involve people, don't create a holy huddle.
That is brilliant. I see the other hands. I'm going to give you an opportunity, but I want to just quickly add to what you said, Karen. We need to remember that the members are the highest authority and the exco are their servants. So whenever we have exco meetings, we tell the members, you are welcome to attend, to hear what's taking place, but for the sake of being able to have a focused meeting and to finish the meeting on time, you can't really comment or do anything during the meeting, but you're welcome to take notes and comment afterwards and on things that we can consider. But just for the sake of meeting structure, we just want to carry on and get the information done. And that works because people feel they matter, and they do.
That's a good thing to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sylvester. Then I've got, okay, now I don't want to butcher your name. Makosazana. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Granny. My question is regarding communicating with the members. I find that, well, one of the members already complained that she doesn't want to be contacted outside of business hours, of which it doesn't make sense a bit, considering that everyone is at work during business hours. And is WhatsApp okay? Do I have to go and communicate with the rest of the exec and ask what's the best way we can communicate and what are the limitations actually?
Okay, that is great, because this shows again, whenever you do a personality or a character test, you will find people come up in different quadrants. This sounds to me particularly like a person that is extremely structured, and that's why they want you to deal with them in a structured way. So when somebody makes statements like that, then you say, could you and I please find some time? I noticed that statement, and in order for me to understand it better and to be able to serve you better, I'd like to have a little bit of time with you that I can just ask you a few questions and know better how I can be a blessing to you. And then try and make that either a one-to-one on Zoom if you can't actually physically go and have coffee somewhere, but if you can go and have coffee somewhere, do that. Because if you build that relationship and you connect a little bit deeper with that person at that time, it's going to make the rest of the communication easier. And all that happens is it means that that person has a particular structure, and you just want to find out how that structure is. So when they are on your contacts, add with a note, contact them this and this time, you know, add to your notes, make sure you add to your notes the reason why that person joined Toastmaster, the reason why this, so that whenever you need to talk to them, quickly look at their notes. If they tell you, my mom died, write it in the notes so that you can, when you speak to them again and say, how is it going? Are you coping better about your mom? I hope that helps you. And then it's
Yes, thank you very much. It helps.
good. Lesego, you're next. How can we help you?
Thank you very much. My question is, if your club has got quite a substantial amount of members, how feasible is it for us now to go speak to each and every individual member to find all this stuff out? Can we not really take it tier by tier and have the mentors gather all this information, and then everything runs like that? Because then, you know, it's a lot of work. I can't be calling 26 or so people just to get this information, especially when they themselves are not coming to the party, where you pretty much have to beg them to even respond. Like, hence the topic you asked, what is the problem you seem to be finding with members that are not participating in these meetings? And nobody wants to be hassled, because, I mean, you know, they did sign up voluntarily and it's their money at the end of the day. If they don't want to partake, there's nothing much we can really do. So is it not easier to take it through the mentors to find out their goals, their ambitions, why they signed up, instead of me having to call 26 people weekly or monthly? It just sounds a bit exorbitant.
Right. Lesego, you're thinking like a leader. Well done. Maybe I should say a leader and a manager there. Definitely that would be an answer. Normally what you do is you have a team of people that reach out and do things for you, but you as VPE needs to have some kind of building community with your members as well. So when you connect with them in whatever setting you are, just remember, I've got to build community, I've got to build connections. And you should discover information like that just with your interaction with them, without physically going down the list and ticking off, I've seen them, I've still got all these to see. You will be able to pick that up from your natural encounter with them. But definitely speak to your IPP and get together and say, this is what we need. This is the struggle we have. Now, remember, mentorship, okay, the difference between a coach and a mentor is this. A coach is the one that just in simple, harsh terms tells you what to do. The coach says, do 50 push-ups now, because they know 50 push-ups will get you ready for whatever they want you to do in the game. So it's coach driven. But mentor-mentee is supposed to be mentee driven. It's around what the mentee needs. So the IPP needs to be able to train the mentors how to ask questions from the mentees and how the mentees need to drive it, and to say, listen here, your success is in your hands. Learn, I'm here, I'm making myself available for these hours and these days to be able to help you. But I can't see your mind, I can't see in your life. And if I'm going to be of any value to you, you've got to learn how to reach out to me, and let's walk this road together. I trust that takes us somewhere. Okay, let me quickly just see here in the comments if there's something there. Sylvester, you want to say something?
Not anymore. I'm happy now.
Great. I just saw that you became unmuted.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Is it George? I'm not sure. And then Patience. George.
Yes, George. Hi, everyone. I would like to probably deviate. I see we are at the end of the session, and I just want not to lose the question. I battle to have the agendas visible, or at least the agendas from Easy Speak to be able for the members to choose a role.
Okay.
Outside the main role, the speaker roles, they can just go through, sign up, but for the other roles like grammarian, accountants also, they are not available. They don't come there, the capacity for one to choose to say, I will be taking this role or that. I just want to understand what is it that I'm doing wrong.
There's
on
never
my-
anything you're doing wrong. There might just be, it's like a cake. You can put the standard ingredients there, but sometimes if you just put a few extra ingredients, you get something really nice. So you're still a cake. Now maybe let's spice up your cake a little bit for you. So
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you can do? You can, what I do in my club is I'm in Easy Speak, you can click and then it opens up the agenda. I just take screenshots of the top and the bottom of it. I just post that on our members' WhatsApp group. I say the agenda is up because they're already getting their emails. And some people just don't read emails. But when I put the agenda up there and then I copy the link of the page where they can go and click, and I put that in WhatsApp too, so that they can just click on that link and go and do it. And I found that that made the percentage slightly higher. But it is a very difficult thing. You must know that it is difficult to get people to respond. That is one of the heaviest weights in Toastmasters, is getting people to respond. And another thing is, I would normally just go and allocate. I give people an opportunity to select and then I allocate, because otherwise you find some people will shy away from something that they are afraid of. And that this is the way that you can get them to grow. I trust that was worth something for you.
Partially,
Mhm.
what really is the problem is that they do not have the option to select by themselves.
Oh, they don't
That's
have the
where
option. Okay. Then you can just handle it one of two ways. You can just put a short little list in WhatsApp and ask them to respond by which one they would want. So you put the roles that are available with a marker to show that it has been taken and a cross that it is available, and they can just let you know on the WhatsApp by saying, I will be evaluator or I will be this. That is the shortest way. Okay.
that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, and then go to assign them just for them to accept. I just thought that there could be a way that I could see in other clubs, okay, there is a possibility when you go into the meeting, you just
Yes.
can go and say, I want to take this or I pick this.
It definitely is a setting, and there is an Easy Speak training taking place this evening at 5:30. I would suggest you just go on there and ask the question there, and she will be able to show you the setting and how to set it up. Would that be good?
I'll try my best. Thank you.
Good then. I think Patience was next, but it seems like Patience has disappeared. Patience, you had a question, or are you now busy somewhere else? And then it's
I still have my question.
good. Then you can quickly ask it, and then it's Tuli.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to just find out. I know that at some point, okay, like previously, I was taught for this training or this communication that was that if you put a member on your agenda and then they just don't pitch,
Yes.
like it happened in my club, they just don't choose to pitch and they don't communicate.
Right. So that
You
is.
try and call them
Mhm.
and they just don't pick up, or their phone is switched off.
Yes. So there's a process that you go through in that. When you put it out there and people are not responding to say that they will do it, then you give a deadline and say, if you haven't responded by that time, then I am going to allocate it to new people. Now, if you see that there's people that constantly don't communicate, they constantly don't come forward, that should be warning signs. It's either because they're going through difficulties or all kinds of things, or they're offended of something, or they're too shy, or whatever. There's so many reasons for that. And that's the one where you would then, if you have a mentor program, you would contact their mentor and say, this is my problem. can you please try and find out what the situation is? Or if you can try and contact them and just reach out to them and say to them, I would love to help you shine and be the best version that you can ever be, but I don't know how to do it. Can we have a little meeting where you can tell me, how can I be a blessing to you? To just warm them up towards you. You hear?
Okay, yes. So this works if they you are trying to then fill up the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Confirm. What of on the day of the meeting? You are ready on the actual day of the meeting, and they're just not available.
Yeah, they don't
come to
pick
the
up.
meeting.
You see,
They don't pick up. They don't. And I know that in some quarters, some had said to me that don't consider them for the agenda again.
yes.
So now how then, especially if you're a small club,
So
and you also don't want to go begging
Yes.
people to speak, especially given that they're actually paying them subscriptions.
Okay, I'm going to answer that now. I see it looks like Tuli has to go because it is already 2 o'clock. So if people need to go, they need to go. Can I just quickly give Tuli an opportunity to share her question before she disappears? Maybe that was a short one. Tuli, please, can you quickly do that?
Hello, Granny, and hello, everyone. Actually, it's the same question I have with, it's the same with
Okay, great.
patients. Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
let
same.
me then quickly answer that. So if they don't come back, etc., there are some people that just have that as a habit. That's just how they are. And you know what? There's nothing you can do. So for me, let me take it further back. One, I've told you to reach out in warmth towards them in case they're going through difficulty so that we can build that caring community. But there's another thing that I want to look at. It's like when you go to the doctor and you say, my head is paining all the time. They just want to give you something for your head, but it could be your blood pressure that's causing your head to ache. It could be a different condition. They don't look at and have everything tested. So here's my part. I'm on a mission to find out how can we attract as Toastmasters true members that really, really, really in their hearts want to grow themselves and are willing to do what it takes to grow themselves. Because often in the clubs, the people that you're having these trouble with are people, they want help, but they're not prepared to, they don't become intentional in working their way forward. So can you understand? I don't want to put the solution there. I don't want to put a Band-Aid on a person like that. I want to say, it's now time to draw members. Let's look at a different type of person that we can draw, because if we have people like that in our club, how can we build ourselves? Because they're not coming forward. You need one hand to wash the other hand. So we need to look at bringing in members that truly want to grow. Eventually, somebody like that, once you've reached out and you've done everything you can do, they will come to a place where they won't renew, because it's in them where the problem lies, not in you. Okay. Have I framed?
Thank you, Granny B. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, everybody, we are over our time with all the questions. It seems like there was a lot of questions on this session. I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and let's do this. Let's build community. Bye. You can put on your mics and videos, and we can greet each other.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Keep well. Have a good weekend. Bye. I'm closing the meeting now. Bye.